And we are live. Here we go, man. All right. So my name is Terry Thompson. I am the host of Unbreakable Stories along with my co-host here, Bonnie. And we have a technical difficulty already. There we go. Now I got it fixed. All right. So anyway, no, you should have seen us like 30 seconds ago. It was like, we got to go live. Hurry up. Let me eat. Kind of a thing. And it was just, man, we were sharing some stuff, and I know that we're slightly late. We love you guys. Thank you very much for being here. I just wanted to send a quick shout out to Aisha, quick shout out to Ida, quick shout out to Peter, shout out to Mary. And if I missed anybody, type in the chat and let me know that you're here so that way we can get you. Bonnie, how are you, man? Oh, hold on. No spitting coffee. And I see you.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
That was bad timing. So I see Janine that'll give me time for a couple more quick shout outs real quick. All right, hurry up and get a drink. All right, so Janine's here. I see Janine is here. So Janine is absolutely a phenomenal lady. She's over there with David Meltzer, and she has the Founders Live thing going on here. So Janine's here. Lady Lexi's here. Mary's here. We have everybody here. The family is here. Bonnie, how you doing?
Here. I'm great. I'm really good. Yes, I was stuffing my face because I had everything perfectly timed, right? And we had to run up and I guess I should say we got to run up and pick up my husband's car. So we were back to two mostly functioning vehicles, which I can't tell you how long it's been since we've each had a functioning vehicle. So yeah, it's amazing. We did that, but when I got back, I quit smoking. I don't know if I said that on my live stream yet.
I don't think we've done that here on YouTube yet or Facebook.
Yeah. And so I woke up, I think it was April 30th. It was a Saturday. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I was very cognizant of the fact that I did not want to put on a lot of weight. I know that happens to a lot of people, and the fact that I already have rheumatoid arthritis and there's like diabetes and heart disease and all these other things around in my family, I was like, I don't want to replace one bad habit with another bad habit. And so that was part of what I was doing this evening. Is I thank you, Janine, by the way. She was here earlier this week, and she ran to Whole Foods. I've never been there myself, but she asked me what I wanted, and I was like, I want some eggplant and zucchini. Like fruits and vegetables are kind of my jam, especially in the summertime when I don't want to eat heavier food. So anyways, that's what I was doing. I was actually prepping and making like a healthy dinner. And so I brought my plate up here. I was stuffing my face as we were hitting the live button.
I love it. Was it Whole Foods Market? Is that what you was referencing?
Yeah, the grocery store.
I love that place. I'm telling you, we go to Whole Foods Market. We have a Joe's something.
Trader Joe's.
That Trader Joe's. We have Mom's. We have Wegmans. Our place that we go to. So we have two places that we go to quite often, and that's Whole Foods Market and Wegmans. And I love both of those places.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Aldi. Having 6 people in our family, Aldi has some really great. I think the big thing about like Whole Foods is, for me anyways, is like the produce. I definitely noticed the taste difference of stuff that she bought versus what we get at like the local grocery store. But Aldi, and I know we just talked about this a few minutes ago, has great organic produce as well at really reasonable cost. And I can get everything in there that I'm looking for the most part. I think there's like 2 things that I won't buy in there, and that's their coffee creamer. It sucks. They switched suppliers a few years ago, and it's just disgusting. Excuse me. And there's one other thing, but I honestly haven't been doing the grocery shopping since COVID was a thing. So I'm not like dictating where my husband has to shop, like, because he's handling it. I'm kind of like, you do you. But the local grocery store does not have the greatest produce. So anyways, yes, my favorite place is Aldi.
And that's hard to find as well, too. So, I mean, you know, that's the reason why we go to Wegmans. We'll go to Whole Foods Market. We'll go to Costco. We'll go to a few different places. And it's unfortunate we have to do that in order to get quality stuff. You know, it's one of those things that, man, I get it. I can 100% relate. I don't do all, my wife does all the shopping. And then, you know, I just go get stuff for me that I don't want to ask her to go get or have her go get. So I'll
Mhm.
go do kind of my own little shopping because I have a few specific things that I like to go get. And I like shopping too. It's one of those things that I definitely want to make sure that I get out and about and go do some shopping. So, man, all right. So we got some people here in the house. Quick shout out again. Tanya is here. Movement makers are in the house. We have quite a few friends here, and I just want to say thank you very much for showing up here. And I just want to highlight Lady Lexi, who won tickets to go see Kiss in concert. I am so
Wow.
of you right now because I grew up, I had every Kiss 8-track and record, and I watched their movie. I mean, I used to sit here and just fantasize over like Kiss. I had neon posters and black posters and glow in the dark posters of like everything Kiss. So right now, I am so envious of you right now, Lexi. I just want to let you know that because I am fanboying it up right now because I love Kiss. Their music is horrible, right? Their makeup is even more horrible. But I grew up listening to those guys because it was they. Here's the thing about Kiss that a lot of people don't understand. Those guys are like marketing geniuses. They truly are. Their music sucks. It's horrible.
You said that.
They're characters, right? It's one of those things to where they literally had to be larger than life and make up for the fact that, did I mention their music sucked?
You better not bring Lady Lexi in here. She's going to take our live stream down.
So
oh my goodness.
I just want to say that no, I grew up listening to Kiss. I love their music. I'm just playing around. But man, Kiss is one of those bands that they were larger than life, and they're still larger to life this day. So I'm getting envious. Anyway, let's move on. Tonight we're going to be talking about potential. So Evan Carmichael challenged movement makers to do a challenge where we're creating a 10-minute video, and we're doing 3 collaborations with fellow movement makers, and we're going to help make that happen tonight. So Bonnie and I have quite a few things that we want to talk about here about potential, but the real question is, are you fulfilling your greatest potential? And I would agree that no, you are not fulfilling your greatest potential. So we're going to dive into that tonight and see what some of the roadblocks are, what some of the things that are getting in your way from fulfilling your greatest potential, and how exactly can you overcome those things so that way you can fulfill your potential. So Bonnie, in reference to like fulfilling your greatest potential, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like you're reaching your greatest potential, and what exactly do you feel is holding you back from that?
I feel like that's a loaded question. No,
That's a big one. So if you want me to go first with that one, I can go first.
No, it's okay. That's a lot. I'm just going to try to keep it concise. Mm-hmm. So potential is, and I've looked this up before, but it's actually like impossible to reach your potential, because potential is like, it's almost like this ambiguous. I'm about to go look it up right now.
The word ambiguous. No, I'm just playing.
Right. Potential is, shoot, I just completely lost the meaning of it. But basically, David Meltzer teaches, and I follow this, it's a consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. So you're always on this journey of getting towards that thing, but you're never going to reach your potential, because if you reach your potential, like, it's almost like an oxymoron, like you just can't. So it's something for you to constantly be striving for. And it's basically like, in a way, goal setting. So you have your goal set here. And as soon as you get there, you're moving the goalpost again, and you're moving the goalpost, and you're moving the goalpost. It's like consistently growing. And so for me, no, I'm never going to reach my full potential. I feel like if that was even possible, like, there's just always one more thing you can do. It's almost like infinity, like the word infinity.
Yeah.
Like, you could always add a little bit more. You can always add a little bit more.
I'm glad that you mentioned there's one more, because Ed Mylett just released a new book here recently, in reference to one more. And You know, if you know anything about Ed Milet, he always talks about reaching that person at the end that he could have been. So he's always trying to
Mhm.
reach that next level, that next version, the highest version of himself. And when he, you know, when he meets that guy, he doesn't want that guy to be a stranger. And
Yep.
that's what I love about Ed Milet, because he's always talking about potential. He's always talking about, what is it that I can do? I can do one more rep. I can talk to one more person. I can do one more. You can always do one more. And here's the reason why I kind of went down that path with that, because each and every single day you have the opportunity to do one more of something, whatever that thing may be. It doesn't have to be a great, big, gigantic thing. It just needs to be one thing. And then when you complete that, then you can do another thing. And then you can do another thing. And as you are going along that journey, you are reaching your potential. Now, you may never reach your fullest potential, but you know what? You're climbing that ladder, that success ladder, so to speak, to where you're getting one step closer, one step closer, one step closer. And when you ultimately meet that person's not going to be a stranger, because you've taken consistent, persistent action in pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself. So that's
You
kind of
got
my
it that time.
that's kind of I did get it that time, didn't I? I've never been able to say that. I've listened to David talk 1,000 times, and I swear to goodness, it's like drinking from a water hose, and I can never get that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it took me a while
I'm gonna have a
too.
victory day.
Yep, yep, yeah. The other one that I love that he says, and he actually mentioned this when I did the pitch competition on his TV show, was that must be what you can be. And it's just this attitude that, again, you're consistently pursuing the best version of yourself, that not no quit attitude. Um, and like you said, with my let, it's constantly just one more, one more, one more. There's somebody else that talks about that. I feel like it's David Goggins or somebody in that realm that talks about that as well. But I actually just it's funny you said that about Ed's book, because you reminded me that I saw it like right before I was falling asleep last night or something. So I'd forgotten about it. And so you reminded me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get that, because I think it's available for pre-order
Mhm.
right now.
I
As a
was at
part
the
of our,
bookstore today and I didn't see it. I was like, oh man.
yeah, I think it's pre-order right now. I
Yeah.
don't know what the release date is, but yeah, it's a great concept that there is no end. Like the end is kind of like the day we leave Earth, right? And
Mhm.
so we just want to keep growing. Like our whole purpose for being here, in my opinion, is growth. And so potential is just that. It's just that infinity where you just can keep growing and growing and growing.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's kind of, I guess,
I
I
love that.
need to get a
So
better
we have
definition. I'd be a little more clear on that, but I know what I'm trying to say.
we have a question in the chat here, and Lexi asks, or could or would we ever figure out what our full potential is, or would there still be growth possible after that? Truly believe that we're always growing. I truly believe that nobody is ever going to reach their fullest potential, because there's always room for growth. And if you're constantly taking a look at what it is that you're doing, and you're analyzing, you're analyzing what it is that you're doing right, what you're doing that needs improvement, you're always going to be growing. You're always going to be reaching another level of possibility versus potential. And that's what I truly believe in. So it's one of those things to where I don't really believe that we will ever reach our greatest potential, but we will reach our next possibility. Bonnie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I just looked it up, and it's the capacity to become something in the future. That's the
Okay.
word that was missing. I'm like, I know what it is, but I couldn't remember what it was, so I had to go look it up because it was going to drive me crazy. So that's why I said it's like infinity. It's not um it's ambiguous, intangible is the word I was looking for. Like you're never going to touch it.
Mhm.
Um and that's why that pursuit is so important. And like Lexi was asking, yes, I think we need to keep growing. No, I don't think we're ever going to reach it, because I feel like, especially as entrepreneurs, and we've got a whole group of entrepreneurs here on stage and in the audience, we are the type of people who we reach one point and we're already reaching, before we hit that point, we're already reaching for the next point and reaching for the
Mhm.
next point and reaching for the next point, I feel like, or in a bunch of different directions, learning different skills and whatnot. So yeah,
I can resonate with that, because once that one thing is done, it's like, boom, what's next? Let's get it. Let's
Yeah.
rock on what is next. And we'll circle back around to that to kind of take a look at the results, and it's one of those things to where I see people that just dive so far deep down into things that they're in the constant pursuit of the rabbit. And if you dive down so many different rabbit holes and you're in the never-ending pursuit of that rabbit, you're never going to catch the rabbit. You're never going to at least catch a part of it, or at least be able to do something. So it's one of those things to where you just have to take action, figure out what that result is, and then once again, figure out what went right, what needs improvement, modify, tweak, change, continue taking action. And it's one of those things to where you can always improve upon processes. You can always improve upon frameworks. You can always improve upon everything. I'll give you an example. The 5 rights. My original 5 rights was from my thinking 20, 25, 30 years ago. Since then, my thought patterns have changed. I've grown a little bit. I have a different perspective, a different opinion. And then I went back and revisited the 5 rights, and I changed like 2 of them. And it's one of those things to where I was like, okay, as I started diving a little bit deeper into the thought process of that thing, I understood it at a different perspective. So I upped that potential of that thing just a little bit more. And it's one of those things to where you can always improve upon anything. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's absolutely true. And I remember having a conversation. We might have been live even when we were talking about this several months ago, and I said something about attitude, and you were like, "I got to add that in there." And so I was like super excited because I was like, oh, I get to be a part of that in a small way. And
support. You said support, and support was one of the,
right.
you said support. So it was one of those things to where when I heard, you're right, because support is one of those things. And here's how I look at support. Support is a resource.
Absolutely.
So one of the 5 rights was resources. And I truly believe that support is a resource. So I can neatly tuck away that support into a resource, because it is a resource. It really, support comes from people.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to read your new book when it comes out. I have to jump off for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I have to help the little one.
Yeah, no worries. Let me add myself back to the stream. So while Bonnie's taking care of the little ones, we'll go ahead and jump back in here. But here's what I want to do. So I know that we have quite a few things, but I'm going to go ahead and share the link to join. So if you do want to join the show and share your thoughts, here's what I ask. Please be succinct within your questions or your feedback, and keep it on task and on target here with the topic of perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm going to go ahead and share the link here. So if you do want to join the show, it's in the chat right now. Go ahead and tap on that link right there. Click on that link. Go ahead and join in on the show, and we'll have a quick discussion. So while Bonnie's off taking care of the little one, it's one of those things, potential. So we're talking about potential. And I truly believe that we will never reach our fullest potential. We're always in that never-ending pursuit. So for me, I have a system in which when I'm trying to help people reach their fullest potential, it's one of those things to where I truly believe in developmental counseling. And I believe that when you counsel your leaders, when you talk to your junior leaders, you are helping them reach their greatest potential by counseling them, offering advice, giving them action items, things that they can do to take action on each and every single day, so that way they can reach their greatest potential, or at least take action continuously in order to try to achieve that. So we have some friends backstage. We have Mary and we have Janine. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Bonnie back on, and then I'm going to bring Mary. And as soon as I see Janine's camera come on, that'll let me know that she's ready, and I'll bring her into the show. So let me go ahead and bring Bonnie back on. Hopefully everything's going good. So let's get Mary up here. Let's get Janine up here. And man, nice to see y'all.
Hey.
Uh-oh, Janine, you're on mute.
I need to download or something like that with the virtual backgrounds, because I'm like, hi guys.
How's it going? So I know that Janine has a lot to talk about potential, and she works with David Meltzer, and I know that she can resonate exactly with what Bonnie said a little bit ago. So Janine, what are your thoughts about potential?
There's something David said in the coaching call from Monday that was really profound about this, but I absolutely cannot remember what it is. I know that's not helpful. But for you guys, for Terry and Bonnie, if you're in the group, Bonnie's definitely in the group. Terry, if you're in it too,
I'm in the
I would
sales
watch
group.
the
Yeah.
replay. Yeah, I would watch the replay from Monday. It's like somewhere in the middle. I
Okay.
know that's not incredibly helpful. The whole call was good. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I'm cracking this kind of like new layer. It's like, yes, on one hand, I did a lot or like put in a lot of energy to get to where I am now, but then I'm like, I've reached this like new plateau where I'm like, oh shit, there's like all this other like mindsets. There's like this whole new like arena of mindset stuff that's coming up now where I'm like, okay, I thought I had resolved some things where like we would just kind of shoot straight ahead. And now, like, right, this question about potential, I'm like, some of these things will like need to be cleared or shifted. It doesn't feel as like heavy or dire as it has in the past, but I'm like still aware that like things will need to shift for me to quote unquote, I don't know, again, as you said, I don't know that anybody reaches their potential, but to at least like approximate it.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for, we also have Tanya in the back. I'm going to go ahead and bring Tanya up on stage. I always like to give that little warning just in case there's no surprises. So welcome to the show, Tanya. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
It's great to talk with you. And, we look forward to hearing your thoughts here in just a second. But I know Mary, she's a regular contributor over the show, and she always shares such great golden nuggets and all these proverbs and wisdom and this, that, and the other. Mary, what are your thoughts about potential?
Well, when you have gray hair, you must have wisdom.
When you have no hair, you have a lot of wisdom.
Absolutely. Potential, I agree with Janine. You can never uncover all your potentials because, like now, they say continuous learning is the way to live. The more you learn, the more hidden talents you uncover.
I like that.
Yes, and so you like really, and like resilience. The more resilient you are, the more you discover how powerful you are, and it's just something ad infinitum, as they say in Latin. It doesn't end. You keep, but the important thing is to find one or two core things, focus on them, and maximize them, and become successful.
I love that, Mary. Thank you very much for sharing. As I said, I always appreciate your wisdom, and man, I got a few gray hairs going on here myself too, but man, it's always amazing to talk with you. Thank you very much for sharing tonight. All right, so welcome to the show, Peter. I see Peter just joined us, but before we go over to Peter, let's hear from Tanya. Tanya, what are your thoughts about potential?
Okay, I'm going to share a thought that I heard from Deepak Chopra, which I follow him a lot. And he always says something that really, struck me, because he says in his, whenever he talks about whatever topic he's discussing, he says, we are the field of unlimited potential. And it is so true. We are the field of unlimited potential. And, to develop that potential, we need to take care not only of our external environment and elements, but we also need to develop our internal world. It's kind of like the more you are able to develop a certain level of consciousness about your own self, the more clarity you develop and to find your purpose. And I think when you find your purpose, that kind of triggers the development of your potential. So yeah, potential is something that it's not, we are not always aware of it. We need some help, external help, and we need to help ourselves. It's not like courage. I think courage is inside of you, and somehow it will pop out at the right moment. potential really needs sometimes someone else to see it.
Mm.
And the right environment, the right people around you, the right motivation, things like that. So that's, and I love this topic because I work with a lot of students and they are the field of infinite potential.
Mhm.
So it's a great topic.
I love that. Look on the outside looking in, that's when you really discover the potential of other people, because oftentimes people have their blinders on, their left or right blinders, and they don't always see what it is that they're capable of doing. So it's one of those things to where as a leader, it is your job to bring out the potential of those that you are in charge of, that you lead. And I know for myself, I was in the military for 24 years, and the way that we did that was through developmental counseling. So I used to counsel my soldiers on, what I saw that they were doing right, what they needed to improve on, their opportunities. And I used to give them tasks and I used to put them in charge of things. We used to do role reversal, role playing, so to speak. So we did a lot of different techniques in order to help people reach their greatest potential, because in the military, that's what we promote people on. We promote you based on your potential, but before you really get promoted, before you really go to that next increased level of authority and responsibility, you should already be performing at that level. So that's the reason why it's it is so, you must groom people. You must groom them to where they can reach their potential. And that takes leadership. So let me ask you something, Tanya. What do you truly believe holds people back from reaching that next level, that next level of potential? What is holding people back? Is it leadership? Is it themselves? Lack of belief? What do you think? What's holding people back?
Okay, coming from where I come from Latin America, I have a little bit of a different perspective about it. I think that part of it is, lack of enough motivation. And part of it is the circumstances that surround you. Mm-hmm. And part of it is not knowing your own potential. Mm. So it's a combination of elements. It's not just one thing. It's different when we're talking about someone who belongs to the first world than when we are comparing it with someone that grew in the slums. It's not the same circumstances. That so many people from so many parts of the world, they are born, they live, and they die without knowing their real potential, and that is so sad.
Yeah.
So it's, for them, there's totally different circumstances that limit their potential. And for other people, maybe middle class, so many people, it's just a lack of motivation. They don't really have that need to fight for something. So they are comfortable, and being comfortable is the worst enemy of creativity and and reaching your potential. And for other ones, for most of us, we just don't know. We just didn't have the right environment. We didn't have the opportunity to use our potential. So it's, a combination of things, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can 100% resonate with that. Some people are comfortable. I remember one time I had looked at, he wasn't a young guy. He was of lower rank, but he was a significantly much older gentleman. He was a CEO of a company, but he did not want to get promoted. So he was in the National Guard, but he was a CEO of a company. He wanted to serve the country. He wanted to do different things, but he wasn't a senior leader. He decided to stay down here because he wanted to understand from a different perspective of what it was like to, do certain things, serve his country, this, that, and the other. And I questioned the guy. I was like, why are you doing this? You have all this potential. You can get promoted. You can serve in, leadership position. You have all this knowledge, the skills, the experience. And, and it was one of those things to where he was comfortable with exactly where he was at. And he wanted to learn some things. I had another buddy of mine did the same thing. He doesn't need a job. The guy's a millionaire. He doesn't need a job, but you know what? He went and took a job because he wanted to learn something. He needed a new skill. He wanted to go do something. He wanted to reach that next level of potential of something. And he felt that getting a job was like the thing to go do. It totally blew my mind. And I was like, and now I'm having different conversations with him. I'm asking him, like, what are you learning today? What did you do today? Did you, like, you took this job to go learn something? Share with me what you're learning, because I'm curious. It's kind of one of those things. But Tanya, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your valuable perspective on the topic of potential. And we'll circle back around. We'll give everybody a chance to share some additional thoughts, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out. We have somebody watching over on Facebook, Brother Elijah Afiri. Hopefully I said that right. I just wanted to make sure that we give a good shout out. I know he's most likely watching over on my Facebook page. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. All right, Peter, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, thank you, Terry. So talking about potential, as you can see here in Chinese word, is in Chinese word meaning diving and hidden. So here got the three dot. I mean, it's under the water. So our potential still under the water, like the iceberg. On top of the surface, we have our current achievement, but below the water is a lot of potential for ourselves. Still haven't discovered, still haven't to achieve. So for example, like currently is we know the whole world is a pandemic. Then especially some person, they might lost their job, but after they lost their job, they find their potential. For example, in Malaysia, they become the chef. After from the pilot become the chef. So if they can change in order to live their potential, in order for the more achievement. So this is quite a huge achievement for them. Yeah.
No, that's a great point. And I'll tell you why, because what it did was it served as a forcing function to make people really question, do I enjoy what it is that I'm doing? I'm stuck. And now that was a forcing function. And a lot of people, now don't get me wrong, I understand that a lot of people lost their jobs as well too, but it also created a situation to where people started questioning things. Do I really like this? Do I really enjoy this? Do I want to do something else? Now it was time I'm telling you, 2 years ago was a great time for people to pivot. If you really didn't enjoy what you were doing then, it was a great time to pivot. And there was a lot of people that was truly successful within the last 2 years, and they reached even greater potential because now they pivoted and did something else. Bonnie and I, we can share this exact same story. When we first met each other, it was one of those things to where we was looking for different things. We was trying different things, and we kind of pivoted in a different direction, had many conversations, and it was a great opportunity to take something that existed and create it into something that had significantly much more potential. Now we're having conversations with Evan and some other people about how can we take this and grow it even bigger, even better. I'm telling you, we got some things that we can't talk about, but we got some things that are coming up here very soon that the full potential of Unbreakable Stories is even going to pivot and do some different things here pretty soon as well too. And man, I'm telling you, there's definitely no lack of opportunity. There's definitely no lack of resources, only a lack of resourcefulness. And people that want to achieve success, they will take advantage of those opportunities. They truly will. That was a great share, by the way, Peter. I just want to say that. Bonnie, what are your additional thoughts? I didn't know if you wanted to add anything to that or not.
Yeah, I agree. I probably would not be here had I not pivoted multiple times. COVID basically shut down my t-shirt business. Like nobody that I knew anyways, needed what I was doing because people weren't getting together. And I was mainly serving small businesses and organizations with their like logo gear, their branded apparel at that point. And so, after multiple pivots and I'm trying to condense the story, but like one thing led to another, and Terry and I ended up on the same live stream with Evan one evening, and Evan's like, you two should do something together. And but we did an interview. It's been actually, I want to look at the date because it's been almost a year, and we might be doing something special for like our 1 year, like Unbreakable Stories anniversary. But for me, I looked at it as an opportunity. I felt like, and this, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say it anyways. In my mind, I was like, everybody else is being forced to slow down right now. This is my chance to catch up, because I always felt like I was one, 2, or 3 steps behind everybody else, trying to manage everything I was managing with my health and everything else going on. And my family was all at home, just like most of the rest of, the United States. And once I knew everybody was safe, I went full speed ahead. Like I started working on a bunch of different things. And so, yeah, I agree. You can go, it's one way or another. It was either poor me or what can I do with this? And I chose to go with what can I do with this, route. So
I love that. And it's reaching higher and higher potential each and every single conversation that we have. And man, I know I'm truly excited about it. And I know when Evan linked us up together, and it was so strange too, because it was on his gaming live stream.
Yeah,
it was
weird.
one of the craziest places to where we would met. But that's how Bonnie and I actually met. And it was through Evan. So I know we're both forever grateful for Evan. I've known Evan for a couple of years and do a lot of things with him. And I'm a part of his team and do things over on Clubhouse and this, that, and the other. So, man, there's a lot going on there with that. And I just want to say once again, as I always do, Bonnie, thank you for everything that you do, because without the things that you do, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. And
vice versa. So, yeah, absolutely. We definitely are. This is a team effort, like all the way. So.
And sometimes you need that teamwork in order to make, it's such a cliche saying, but you need that teamwork to make the dream work. And that's true, because if you're struggling to reach your greatest potential, sometimes you need a little outside perspective. As Tanya mentioned earlier, you need that outside perspective. It's not necessarily the what, sometimes it's the who. And when Bonnie and I got together, it was the who. And that's exactly how we was able to build, grow, and scale Unbreakable Stories into what it is today. And it's getting bigger each and every single day. We've got things that's going on that it just keeps growing. And we're excited about that. And it all started with Evan. So Evan's the one that basically point the finger out on that one. But no, we love Evan. We're forever grateful for Evan on that one. But we also have another friend up here on stage with us. We have Maria up here on stage. Maria, what are your thoughts?
Hi all. Thank you for holding the space. I just came on. I had an unexpected cancellation, so I was like, oh, let me just join my friends here. I've been working on a really big project that I'm very excited about, and I've been distracted with that. But I'm so grateful that I'm enthusiastic and showing up for it and doing that. So that's been good, and it's really. I realize, I think sometimes we're growing our potential and we don't always realize it. I think that it reminds me of that quote from John Lennon. It's not exactly what he's saying, but he says, life is going to happen to you as you're busy making other plans. And I've noticed in my life that I'm showing up in one area and not realizing that I'm cultivating skills and aptitude and spiritual qualities in something else that I had not even expected. And what I'm seeing now is working on this project, it's sort of bringing everything together, and how I'm much more adept and not as overwhelmed and feel like I can show up. And I know that there were times in my life that I had these little seeds of knowing I could show up, but I would get shut down easily because I felt overwhelmed, or my perfectionism would show up. I should say that insidious perfectionism would show up, and that would really stress me out and make everything even more difficult. So I just think that I know for me, and for one of the things I do in my coaching practice is I push my clients to realize their potential, because I believe that we are far greater, far stronger, far wiser, far healthier, far more abundant than we actually realize. And I think that sometimes we have, in my faith, there's this quote. It says, "My calamity is my providence." It's a quote by Baha'u'llah. My calamity is my providence. And so it's this understanding that sometimes the worst catastrophe is the greatest opportunity, right? And I know, I'm echoing now. Oh, I know in my life that my biggest challenges have forced me to grow muscles in areas that I may never have acquired. And so I think that, I think that's grace sometimes when we have our biggest challenges, because divinity knows that we're greater than that. And I love that Bonnie said, you know, she made the choice. You make a choice, right? You either choose or you run. And the running is short-lived often, because I do believe that the potential within us wants to be realized now more than ever. It really needs to be realized now. And so I spent a big part of my life running from that. Didn't know I had the capacity to step in and rise to it. And the more I get to know myself and realize that, you know, I do have the strength, and I'm stronger than I realize, the more I realize that that's true of all of us. And so, you know, I push people because I work with women that struggle with emotional eating and food cravings, and I'm pushing their borders, because it sounds simplistic, but to help people change their eating patterns is people there. I had an uncle who went to the grave before he changed his eating patterns. He knew that his eating patterns were going to kill him, but he didn't want to change them. So it's an interesting thing, you know, to talk about our relationship to food, to talk about, because it's very primary, and yet it pushes our buttons, and it's easy to rationalize that.
I love that.
Sorry,
Great
Terry.
share.
I'm just raising my hand. I just quit smoking like a month ago, and I went straight into that, not replacing one with the other. And the chemicals in your brain trick you into going, I need this. I need, because I'm telling my brain, okay, I'm not doing this thing anymore. It's telling me I need to do this. And so all I wanted to do for like 2 weeks straight, I've talked to Terry about this multiple times. I had meltdown after meltdown, wanting to just stuff my face, especially with sugar and carbs and whatnot. And so I did give myself grace for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Nothing super crazy, but it was like, if I'm going to get through this first couple of weeks of not smoking after 25 years of it, I've got to allow myself a little bit of leeway over here. But at the like 2.5 week mark, I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not trading one thing for another. And I'm not getting myself in another health habit hole because of the other one. So I love that you said that it does feel like a pull, like, and like something you can't control at some points. And I had to finally, like you said, make that next decision to go, okay, I'm in control. I don't need to put this stuff in my body. I need to find something to distract myself. And I know it can be much more difficult than that, especially when you've got something like an eating disorder going on. But I knew this was kind of a conscious thing going in. Like, I knew I did not want to allow myself to fall into this other trap, this other addiction, and replace one for the other. So sorry, Terry, to cut you off. I had to get all of that out, because I know exactly what she's talking about, that feeling that something's pulling you, and how that those addictive patterns, unfortunately.
No, that was a powerful share, by the way. And I witnessed the struggle, you know, probably secondhand. I definitely didn't experience it firsthand with Bonnie, but I talked to Bonnie at least, oh my goodness, how often do we talk? At least twice a day, 2 or 3 times a day, sometimes.
Something like that. I think it was like the first time I actually snapped at you too, and he was like, "Oh, something's wrong."
I love it. No, I love it. And it's one of those things that I knew something was up. I knew something. I was like, you know what? This is kind of unnormal behavior. It was just kind of one of those things to where you have to be able to give grace. I truly believe, if you want someone to reach their fullest potential, because had I snapped back, that could have caused friction, and it might have caused her to say, you know what? I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette. Forget you. You know, it was kind of one of those things. But you know what? I had some empathy. I had a little bit of grace. I was like, okay, something's up. We'll circle back around to that, and we had a conversation about it, and we didn't allow something to become a misunderstanding or something bigger than it was. And I truly believe that, you know, when you let things get out of hand, things will get out of hand, and that's where you really kind of go back down that rabbit hole again, to where, okay, you made all this progress, you're reaching your greatest potential, and now you have to start all over again. Or you have, you know, and then some things, there's nothing wrong with that in some things, but man, you know, when you're really fighting hard each and every day for your dreams, for the things that you want to make changes within your life. And then you hit that struggle, that roadblock, that adversity, that whatever it may be, the number one thing that's going to allow you to push through is right there. It's your mindset. And I truly believe that. And that's the reason why we work with people to strengthen their mindset, strengthen and give them some tips, some techniques, resources to where you can get better each and every single day. So, Maria, I do want to ask you a question though. When it comes down to achieving habits, because we have our Unbreakable Habits Challenge and we've narrowed it down to 8 things that we want people to take action on each and every day in order to achieve success. So when working with people trying to build their habits, develop their habits and keeping them on track, what's the number one thing that really gets people off track when it comes to taking action on their habits?
So I'm a big believer in our self-image, our self-concept is a paradigm of who we are, right? Our beliefs, our thoughts, and that shapes who we are, and that informs the decisions we make every day, and that informs the habits that we have. And so when you work on envisioning and seeing yourself as someone who's disciplined and habitual and focused, you can start to change your self-image. And what are the beliefs around that? So the biggest issue I see that happens in the field is that people try to change their habits without understanding the deeper drivers that are keeping them there. Because you can white knuckle and change your habits, but if you have a belief that I'm not focused and I can't do this, that belief is going to take you down every time. It's like driving with your brakes on. There's only so much willpower to get you through. So I work at the core of what the beliefs are and then changing self-image, because nothing is going to change if you don't really change at the core. And it's not change who you are, it's realizing who you are. We are far greater than we are, but we have all these beliefs and false premises and thoughts about ourselves that are erroneous. They're not true. They're not in aligned with our amazing self. And so I work with those are the 2 areas that are the biggest focus in my work. And that's why my work is so successful, because it's not like, a diet. It's not like the outer stuff. The outer stuff will align when you start to see that yourself as that person who can do it. And what does that look like? And what does that feel like? And I use science-based practices that help with brain integration to change the way you see yourself. And because that's what has to change. If you have, because you take me for an example, I grew up as a very overweight kid. And I started dieting when I was 12. I was 160 pounds by the time I was 12. And I got thin and I became anorexic and bulimic, but I still saw myself as that fat kid. So even when I got thin, I didn't see myself as a slim. The change for me is today, I see myself as a slim, energetic, vibrant, healthy woman who's capable. Now, everything in my life had to change, everything, because I grew up being sick all the time. I saw myself as sickly. We identify ourselves with the things that we cultivate. And those things we cultivate a lot of times are coping mechanisms for maybe the trauma we have in our lives. But we re-traumatize ourselves when we still use those old patterns. So it wasn't an overnight thing for me. But the bottom line is that it's absolutely possible to change from the inside out, and it's sustainable. When we change from the outside in, I've done it many times. I've seen it. That's why the diet industry is like $1 billion industry, because we just keep trying to put another Band-Aid on the problem. And not that there's not good information. I know I'm giving you a very long-winded answer, Terry, but I feel very passionate about this.
I love it.
Any kind of change, even me seeing myself as a successful businesswoman, has to do with seeing myself first. And that's why, even now, I'm much more focused, and because I had this opinion of myself that I'm not able to focus. Guess what? That's the mantra I kept saying to myself. It wasn't always conscious, but it was definitely showing up in my day. And so starting to see myself as focused and strong and capable and making good decisions. And so I do visioning. And I teach that to my clients. And and look at the beliefs. Like, what are the beliefs that you have to have in your heart that make you that person that you want to be, or that is longing to become, right?
You and I could have like hours long conversations, because like I'm getting goosebumps all this stuff. But I 100% agree with everything you just said, because that was I believe that was like part of the catalyst for. I've said I don't know how many times I'm going to try to quit smoking. I'm going to try to quit smoking. And I would cut down and cut down and cut down. I told Evan, I made a declaration to Evan 2 years ago in January, like right before, everything kind of went crazy, that I was trying to quit smoking. Like I went on his live stream and I'm like, I'm going to do this. It was always, I'm trying, or I'm going to. It was never, I'm this new person. And it didn't matter how many different things I tried. It would always creep back in, and I'd go back and I'm like, oh, I'll try again another time. But what ended up happening was, I think I was doing all of these other things, right, to improve my health. And that was the last thing that I was doing that was actually causing my health. Like I was destroying my health at the same time. And it finally became like, I can't come on here and be a role model for people and Unbreakable, for these kids that I want to go talk to, if I'm hiding out in the corner smoking a cigarette. Like I'm a big freaking hypocrite. Like it doesn't line up. Like I can't be telling people I'm doing everything I possibly can to improve. Like I've got rheumatoid arthritis and some other stuff going on that I'm trying to eradicate, that I'm trying to get under control. It's like I can't walk around pretending basically that I'm doing everything I can for my health when I'm literally destroying my health in the process. And so that was kind of, something must have clicked one night for me, because I literally woke up on a Saturday morning, was like, I'm not doing this anymore. It wasn't like I'm trying or I'm gonna. It was, and I still literally have, I don't know how many of you guys know about Evan's Damn the Doritos. He's got the Doritos sitting on his desk. I literally have a Newport pack, which is cigarettes I smoke, with one cigarette left in there, and sitting on the shelf in my dining room. And every time I see the damn thing, I was like, you're not stronger than me anymore. Like I'm stronger than you now. Like I'm not. And this is part of this whole, like you said, becoming in this identity shift process. It was really weird, because even like a weekend, it didn't feel like this big deal anymore. Whereas before, I was making it this huge big deal that like I had to overcome this thing. It was going to take all this effort. And I'm not saying it was easy. I'm telling you what, the freaking emotional roller coaster and all that other stuff was way more difficult for me than the craving part of it. And the sickness and the dizziness and the nausea and like the head spinning and the brain fog was just like, it's still coming and going here and there. But I kept telling myself that by using a nicotine replacement, and everybody's different, so I'm not like giving advice on how somebody should quit smoking, but for me, it was like, I don't want to prolong this process. This is horrible. Like the withdrawal was so bad for me that I was like, I don't want to go anywhere, anything that looks like nicotine, because I don't want to add like a single second onto this process. I just want to be done and have it out of my system. So anyways, that was a long-winded answer, but I love everything you're talking about, because that's exactly it. Because now for me, that's not a part of my life anymore. Like I still feel it sometimes when I do transition, like when I go to take a walk.
Anymore.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I don't do that. Like I'm not, yeah. So it is ingrained, and I'm still working some of that stuff out because it's been so long. But it's not enough nothing I think at this point would make me want to go back to doing that. So
I love that. Congratulations, Bonnie, by the way. I know how hard you worked to make that happen. And you and I've had several conversations around that as well, too. And I just want to say congratulations. And you are definitely an example for others to follow. And it's one of those things to where, and I want to touch on something that Maria said as well, too. And it's one of those things that when you say what you are or who you are, you tend to believe it. So if you say, I'm a smoker, everybody in my family's a smoker and I'm a smoker. And so I'm just destined to be a smoker. It's one of those things to where if you say those things, you have to change in order for something to change. Exactly what Maria said. And if you always say, well, I'm overweight, I'm a smoker, I'm this, I'm that. Notice that I said, I'm this. Start changing the narrative. Start changing that inner self-talk. Start changing your voice and start changing your actions and start saying, I'm this. Whatever it is, you can insert whatever it is that you want to insert there. But I truly believe that. I truly believe that I believe in affirmations. Every single morning I get up and I tell myself I can, I will, I must. Whatever those things are, I set the intention for the day. I can, I will, I must. And whatever my bottom line up front is, whatever my intention for the day is, those are the things that I can and I will and I must do each and every single day. And there's no time for breaks. There's no time for a smoke break, or oftentimes, I have to remind myself to go eat. Like it'll be like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be like, oh crap, I didn't eat, kind of a thing. And it's one of those things. Sometimes drinking water, I have to force myself to do some of those things. It's one of those deals to where, look, here's the thing. If you want to reach your greatest potential, you have to be stronger than the resistance that's holding you back from getting there. Bottom line. You have to be stronger than that resistance, and resistance can come in many forms. So we're at 54 minutes here. We're going to go ahead and start winding things down. And here's what I want to do. I want to get final thoughts here from everybody. So we're going to go around the table here and we're going to get final thoughts, and we'll go in backwards order back to me. So on how I see it on my screen here. So we got Maria, we've got Janine, we've got, Tanya, we've got Peter, we've got Mary, Bonnie, and myself. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Maria. Maria, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
Oh gosh, that we are greater than we think we are, and that when one of us reaches our or strives, I don't think we ever reach our potential in this lifetime, but when we strive to do that, we give others permission to do the same, and it just makes the picture even brighter.
I love that. Maria, thank you very much for joining us here. You're definitely welcome to hang out on stage here with us. We're going to have an after party here tonight once this is over. I'm not sure how long the after party is going to be, but that's when we really throw down in the after party here. So if you've participated in an after party, you know what I'm talking about. That's where we really get down to business here. But Maria, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and tuck you back into the audience here.
Yes, thank you.
But you're welcome to hang out for the after party.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Janine. Janine, what are your final thoughts?
I think the thing that resonated the most was when Tanya talked about how you're not going to reach your potential by being comfortable. And it felt very affirming that, like, doing things that are kind of scary, but feel like the right direction. Because that's kind of where I am now, where I'm realizing there's this like whole other layer. Like, yes, I've come a long way, but now there's like all this other stuff to do. I know you never arrive to. I was going to mention that earlier about that Abraham Hicks says, like, you're eternal, so you're never going to be done, or it's never going to be completed.
I love that. Janine, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. We always greatly enjoy talking with you. But before I tuck you back down to the audience, do you have anything you want to share about Founders Live coming up here soon?
Yeah, our next virtual event is on June 22nd. Thanks for mentioning that, Terry. So because it's virtual, anyone can join. It will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't have YouTube open right now, but I could try to drop this in the chat. It echoes if you do both at the same time.
Yeah, no worries. So I'll make sure that I modify the description afterwards, and we'll get that we'll get that added to the description of the video. So once again, if you want to participate within Founders Live, if you're in the Atlanta area and you are a startup and you truly believe that your business has what it takes, go ahead and join up with Founders Live. Pitch your business. You never know. It might be exactly what it is that you need in order to take your business to the next level. So join Founders Live. We'll have the description in the link below. Get connected with Janine, and she'll make sure that she gets you everything that you need in order to pitch your business to Founders Live in Atlanta. Janine, thank you very much. Anything else?
That's all. Thanks, Terry.
Awesome. All right. So next up, we have Tanya. Tanya, what are your final thoughts?
Great sharings tonight. I would like to say that if you really want to increase your potential, find your purpose, because it's all about that. From what I've heard from each of you, your purpose is what, solves that resistance that we may have in life. So it requires an internal work, But if we are willing to, we will find our purpose, and that will give us the strength to find our potential.
I love that. Tanya, thank you very much for taking time out of your day and joining us here today. I'm going to go ahead and tuck you back in the audience, but you can hang out. We're going to have an after party here shortly. All right. Next up, we have my screen kind of jumped around here a little bit, but next up, so Mary, Peter, you're a regular guest here. Who's ready to go first?
All right, Mary, you want to go first or me go?
All right, Peter.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay, so in order to reach our full potential, we really need to push ourselves to find it. So the push is the persistent until something happens. Persistent until something happens. Thank you, Terry.
I love it. Peter, thank you very much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and tuck you back down. All right, Mary, what's that golden nugget tonight?
Be willing to go out of your comfort zone, because that's where you push your limits, and then you uncover new potential. You uncover how powerful you are when you push your limits.
I love it, Mary. Thank you very much. You're absolutely amazing. We enjoy talking with you each and every night. All right. Make sure that I'm hitting the right one. I almost tucked Bonnie down into the audience. Bonnie, truly phenomenal show here tonight. Oh my goodness, man. Talking about potential. It's one of those things to where, there's a lot to unpack with that. And we did share just a few things here tonight. And I truly believe that people, there's opportunity out there each and every single day for people to reach their greatest potential, but it really kind of comes down to having the right attitude and the right action. And when you have the right attitude to take the right action, man, you will achieve a result. Whether that result is big, small, positive, or negative, it is in fact a result. It's up to you to modify, tweak, or change and continue taking action. And, and as Bonnie shared tonight, she recently quit smoking, and I'm proud of her for that. I truly am. I'm truly proud of you for doing that, because that helps you reach that next level of potential that you are fully capable of. But it's one of those things that, it was messing with you. It was slowing you down. And we talk each and every day on all of the different changes that we're making. As Maria shared tonight, nothing changes unless you do. And that I'm proud of you for making that change within your life. And you are truly an example for others to follow within that. And man, I'm just want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. It's funny because, and this is going to sound weird maybe, I expected it to be harder than it was. And I think that's part of why it was that fear, right, of it being way more difficult. And again, there were very, very difficult parts, but the part that I thought was going to be difficult was the part that ended up not being difficult for me. But that anticipation and that fear of how difficult the process was going to be is what kept me from doing it for so long. And finally, like I said, it was just a decision. I just woke up in one day and was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's really part of what, striving for your potential is it's a decision. Like, this stuff doesn't happen on accident. Mm-hmm. You don't just wake up one day and, reach your potential or get close to it. As we've all been talking about, reaching your potential is actually, your full potential is actually kind of impossible. It's like infinity. But like you said, you have to have the right attitude and take the right action. And sometimes the wrong actions, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. In order to keep going on this path, you've got to figure out what's not necessarily the right choice, as well as the right choice a lot of the time. But yeah, I love this conversation. I love all the shares. I love when we get this awesome group of people together and just get to hear everybody's perspectives and opinions about the topic that we're talking about. And so again, thank you. I also want to say thank you for your support in this process. Thank you for putting up with my cranky, unpredictable self for the last month, because it's been a journey. And I just appreciate the support. So thank you again. And I'm excited for the after party.
I absolutely love it. And speaking of support,
Yeah.
so Bonnie is an absolutely amazing creator, and that's one of the things that I love about her. She creates so many different things, and it pushes me to my fullest potential as well too. You know, it's one of those things to where when we was introduced to each other, it's like, man, here's this yin and here's this yang. Here's the best of both worlds. And when we came together, we truly was able to take the best of what it is that we do, and we were able to create a business out of it. It's like, you know what? I can't design t-shirts, but I needed a t-shirt. I can't, you know, I didn't really have like a one word, so to speak. I had many words, and it was like, man, I needed this. And whenever I met Bonnie and we talked and we kind of got down to a lot of different things, we truly have turned Unbreakable into so much more than simply a word. It's becoming a brand. It's becoming a message. It's becoming a beacon of hope for other people who are struggling through roadblocks, adversity, struggles within your life. And I'm here to tell each and every one of you that you have a voice, you have a mission, you have something that somebody else needs right here, right now. They need your story. They need your unbreakable story. So it would mean a lot to us. And we have something super simple, super easy, super free, might I add, that you can do. And it's the Unbreakable printout sheet right here. So Bonnie created this I Am Unbreakable printout right here. And it's right there on our screen. It's at unbreakablestories.com/share. Once you head over to our website, which is unbreakablestories.com, it's /share. You'll see the link once you get on over there. We've made it super easy for you. All you have to do is print this out, or you can download it to one of your devices on your phone, on your tablet, on a computer, on your TV, if you want to. And it's one of those things to where all you have to do is just download that, take a picture of yourself with it. All the instructions are right there. We've dropped all of our social media links right there. And when you share that across social media using the hashtag #MyUnbreakableStory, we will share that. We'll share it across all of our social media platforms. We'll add it to our website. So that's free visibility for you. And we always link it back to your social media. Typically it's Instagram. So we usually share it back, link it back to your Instagram profile. And that's, you know, you're right there on our website, sharing your support. And that's one great way that you can share your support. If you want to take it to the next level, we have the Unbreakable t-shirt. Man, I'm telling you, I love this t-shirt. I think I have 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them. Bonnie makes me so many t-shirts. It's unbelievable. So every time I need a shirt, I'm like, I text her. I was like, Bonnie, I need a new shirt. Let's go. Here's the design. Make it happen. Let's go. And she
Yeah,
gets
I'm working on it right now.
and she gets me my t-shirt. So I love it. Bonnie, you created something absolutely phenomenal here within Unbreakable. And I'm just truly grateful to be a part of that. And it's one of those things to where she's the creative, she's the designer. She really is the mastermind behind all of this. I'm the voice. I'm the voice and the tech guy. So it's taking the best of both worlds. And I have the business mindset and savvy and marketing and advertising. So what we was able to do was take the best of both worlds. And now we've taken something that started off as one thing, and we've taken it to a whole different level. And that right there, it's not at its fullest potential, but you know what? We're climbing one rung in the ladder of success at a time. We're reaching our full potential, one message, one voice, one story at a time. But here's the real question. Is your story next? We want to share your story at unbreakablestories.com. So if you head over to our website, unbreakablestories.com, you'll see all the details on how you can get connected to us. We got the t-shirt, we got the printout. We just started the Unbreakable Habits Challenge as well, too. Man, we've got how many people we got? We got 32 people now that have decided to make the difference within their life, that have joined the Unbreakable Habits Challenge. And we got 8 super simple things for you to do each and every single day. And when you take action on those 8 things, you will reach a greater potential within your life. You will notice a change. You will notice a difference within your life when you join the Unbreakable Habits Challenge. And it literally starts out with one habit at a time. You know, as Bonnie shared earlier, one of the habits that she broke was smoking. And that was a habit that really needed to change. And now she's doing different things. She's getting prepared and getting ready to take action on some of these other habits as well, too. And we'd be excited to have you a part of the Unbreakable family. Share your story. Share with the world that you too are unbreakable. Bonnie, great show tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, you are the voice. We could not do this without each other. This would not be where it's at had we not, built it together and with the support of wonderful people that could show up and make this show what it is, make our clubhouse shows what they are. Just super grateful for everything that we've been able to do together over the past year now. And I'm just excited to see what's coming next, watching it Unbreakable reach its potential.
I love it. Bonnie, thank you very much for a great conversation. We just want to thank all of our friends for joining us here tonight as well, too. Mary, Janine, Tanya, Peter, Lexi, and Maria as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. My name is Terry Thompson. I'm the host of Unbreakable Stories, along with my co-host here, Bonnie. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.